A one, a two, a one, two, three. Hello, everybody. This is Purplewabbit or Petrolrabbit, depending if you clicked on that video I never uploaded or you didn't click on that video that I forgot to make public. But whatever, right? So let's get right to it.
Because this one time at band camp.
So, like when you see something that you really, really like or enjoy, or think that it's really smart or cool or well done, and like really want to share it and want everybody else to know how cool, this is not one of these videos. And this is not one of these times. This movie is that there's.
Everybody knows you never go full retard.
What do you mean?
Check it out.
Yeah, why am I making a review about something I don't like instead of making something I do like? I don't know. So why is this movie horrible? Let's get into it. Just to make it clear before, if you, I'm fine with movies that with limited resources and things have to cut corners and stuff, but. But when something is clearly from somewhere where it gets top budget and everything,
It's not a liquid!
and then there's lots of laziness and cutting corners to spend less money and still it.
Why are you pulling me? I'm right!
So this is a post edit, and I'm here because I'm doing it because I feel that since there's really no positive spin on this and what you're about to see, but at least give some sort of, end of the tunnel, light at the end of the tunnel, good news. There's like good news, bad news. There's no good news here, but I thought about it all night and a couple and more nights. But it was really difficult. But in the end, I actually found something. I mean, there's something good out of all of this. The thing is, this is actually a 1 hour and 30 movie. So you're not you're not into having to watch something like Battle of Los Angeles for 3 hours in a row. We've finally moved past the era of 3 hour movies for no good reason at all, even if they're even, already nobody used to care about what Kevin Costner wanted to do for 3 hours in whatever version of whatever fantasy he had the other night. But at least that had some sense, and in the years that followed, it just became a sort of like a pile of confusion and unclear thoughts on what cinema is. But at least here we're at least. I mean, there's no real positive way of seeing this, but at least you're not in for 3 hours. You're just in for something like is 1 hour 30. Having said this review was like just short under an hour, and there's just no making this any shorter. I mean, it's not that it needs made justice, but just consider this like some. I'm not saying that you have to see all the review, because just see it to sort of until you're convinced that you don't need to see it, that there's no reason for which you should ever go and click on this on Netflix. None whatsoever. If you need a reason for the existence of this review, outside of convincing you of not going there in the first 10 minutes,
Do not go in there. Woo!
consider it like, I don't know, therapy for me. I have PTSD from this.
And why you in analysis? Are you afraid to sleep alone? What else?
Fear of death?
Yeah, it's funny. I have that too. My dog has it. I mean, it's very common to living creatures.
It's just still not going away. But there's more good news. This video, the making of this video, it's already making me feel a bit more at ease with. You can't unsee this. There's no one seeing this. But
What are you gonna do? Annoy him into talking?
Ha ha.
2, 3, 4.
There's an intro, and let's take the audio off, shall we? There's they find some creatures, bat, pterodactyl, something in caves, and they, yeah, whatever. We'll get into these later on. They've done some mild research about iguana, Komodo dragon bites, but not too much. But the worst thing about the first 30 minutes of this movie, I guess, is that you've seen it already in basically every other movie you've gone to see. That implies showing you something fictional, but doing it by 90% of the time showing you real life from possibly an American kitchen or somewhere where you don't have to spend too much budget on the on the set.
Five.
Oh, great.
So you got an arrow right in your chest, and you're out 10 melee rounds.
Oh, no.
Don't worry about it, Mike. I got resurrection. I'll bring you back.
I'm already one of the undead, Greg. I can still throw death spells, huh, Steve?
I'm just trying to help you out, man. Don't be so cranky.
So we have this title sequence, which from if you ask me is nothing original. It reminds me a lot of bit, if you want to come to later times, Walking Dead, but there's Romero, a lot of Romero in these titles, and there clearly is. It kind of reminds me of the opening titles of Godzilla, I think 2001 or something like that. You know, the mutations and stuff. But here the take is not mutation, I guess. These creatures have been interred for thousands of years, so they're more like, you know, the Loch Ness monster, or I guess Voyage to the Center of the Earth, or something around these lines. So, but yeah, man has obviously bullied Earth too much and nature, so now it's time to pay. This is generally what the message is. Don't expect much more. So obviously everything is filtered through the eyes of the average life of an American, just like Independence Day. Who cares about what happens in the rest of the world, even if it's like a world apocalypse? But and who cares about what happens in different places, or maybe we can all see this through the eyes of just one person. So yeah, more or less. And this is important. She's the main character, or she's part of the family from of the main characters, the main families. I don't know how to go with that, but she's the daughter of the family we're following in this story, and she is mute or deaf or mute, deaf. And so she speaks sign language, and so this is going to be important later on. But let's, yeah. And her friends obviously bully her, because we've seen before people bully people who become deaf, right? It's normal. It's clearly what happens in society. We meet the boyfriend of her, but he's learning sign language. So yeah, there's none of this is relevant aside the fact that she can't hear. So the whole family is kind of more used to being silent. That's just about it. So we get snippets here and there, kind of like Deep Impact, you know, of the world going to Armageddon or whatever that is. We can move on. The apocalypse still hasn't given much of a sign. Everybody's still living home. There's everything's fine. But yeah, so the news started coming in. That's more or less all we get.
It'll be a very large tidal wave moving quickly through the Atlantic Ocean. It'll be 100 feet high, traveling at 1,100 miles an hour.
Need to go somewhere, and dad of the family decides to bring his old-time friend with them, which oh yeah, medicine. Mom is terminal. I mean, grandma is terminal. Friend is yeah, gun enthusiast. A bit more. Oh yeah, more special effects. Which yep, done. Done. Oh yes, now this is an interesting spot in the movie. We of course there's like it's the apocalypse, so we have to show something that shows the apocalypse. The easiest trope we can go with is that all people become trash when the apocalypse comes around. The people decide that they're going to throw the child out because I haven't said this yet, but these creatures detect sound. They find their prey according to sound, and
Keep absolutely still. Suspicion's based on movement.
they don't have sight. So the solution here is to kick the baby out of the carriage and the mother, and as well as the mother who decides to go with the baby. They were just gonna they expected the mother obviously to just let them throw the baby out. And all of this happens politely because of course we have to show that it's the apocalypse and people are trash. But we also don't need to go too much into it, so we just we'll just go back to family time and the family sort of dealing mildly with the apocalypse. But we can put some snippets here and there about how some people are trash and others aren't, just because it's the apocalypse. Wow. Wow. Yeah, let's move on. There's nothing particularly interesting there. So there's a reinforcement of this point we just made, because yeah, the main argument is people are trash. Yeah, they need gas, of course. So and I just there's no logic to what happens here and to the motivations to characters and people. So yeah. The gas station is like any given Sunday, of course. There's apocalypse signs. None.
Honey! Where's mommy? Karen! Karen! Hey!
The dog of the family starts barking, of course, because it's the dog, normal things that dogs do. Somebody pops out of their car and they have a gun and they want to shoot the dog if the dog doesn't shut up, because the dog is going to call all these creatures that are attracted by sound. So he shoots in the air instead of shooting directly at the dog, because of course sound is the problem.
Wow! Okay, you are now firing a gun at your imaginary friend near 400 gallons of nitroglycerin!
And why didn't he just get into his car and drive away if that was the point of his security? But the friend of the family just comes and shoots him, of course. So the dog kind of puts him down, and they don't help him, of course, because he's a dick and he deserves it. Because he had no apparent motivation for doing it. So of course it's correct that he should die in the movie, and they just leave him there. Cuts. Moving on. The night is gone. People have died all over the world or stuff, and cities are already empty, but you didn't see any of that. The family is fine. They're in the car. They're just moving on like a family trip to I don't know where, but Aspen, I guess. Sounds about right. No, we need a break. We need a break. We stop the cars. There's no signs of the apocalypse. Oh, yeah. For some reason, the kid wants to go back in the car with. There's no follow-up on this, anyways. So the internet is working, of course, and social media is the answer for finding information on what's going on. But they go off-road because, yeah, good reasons. And oh yeah, they go off-road and the car ahead. Yeah, oh, you see, there is a follow-up on the reason. So we were at the point in which the kid wants to get off the car, because before that he wanted to go in the car with the uncle, who's not really an uncle, he's just a friend of the dad. But anyway, so the yeah, you see, so he's in the car and accident, and this brings the story on. So, but we couldn't have left the kid inside, or maybe in a previous script they decided to leave the kid inside, but then it was a bit, not nice, not too nice, and maybe too complicated. So they just changed it, and we went back, and we made this wonderful excuse where the kid just doesn't want to stay in the car, and we don't explain why, but this saves the kid, and it saves us a lot of trouble into having to go into more detail about the scene, which anyways is horrible and makes no sense absolute in any given shape, form, heaven, earth, hell, or any intermediate dimension.
Bird angry.
The behavior of all the characters involved is there's no logical motivation to anything that is being done, but what's going on is that this guy, the dad of the family, is telling him everything is going to be all right, and that they're going to call ambulances and fire or whatever. Of course, there's an apocalypse, so none of this is going to ever be. The phone's not working, of course, and the other guy knows it, so he's already sort of like. Man, you gotta get real. You gotta deal with this. It's like because it's not like he's the one dying, and yeah, it's the other one who needs to get over it. But so the way this ends, and it's awesome because while this guy wants to convince him, the other guy says, "You know what? I really need you to go and get my guns." It's like, why would you need your guns? Why would you give them to him? Right? He's already telling you to go away because he doesn't want you to stay there for your own security. So, and the guy gives him his guns. Obvious, right? That's just what you would do, even if you're under stress. And what does he do with his guns? Well, you'd suppose he'd shoot himself. So, like, he removes the equation and stuff, and we're done.
Fly, you fools!
But no, he tells him that if he doesn't go away, he's going to shoot him. Which I guess works just as fine, but it makes no sense either. So, yeah. Oh, I know why. Because suicide is a capital sin. I hadn't thought of this. This might say something about who put money into this movie, I suppose. But I hadn't thought of that. That was so. Now we get another heartbreaking scene, of course, because animals are important. Not saying that they're not. It's a question of priority. Anyways, so we get the scene where the dog starts barking, and they don't go away. They don't. There's no reason for them to stay there and to not move, but they just stick around. They stick around, and the dog keeps barking, and the aliens come. Aliens, creatures, whatever. So this all leads up to this horrible scene where not only his friend dies, but yeah, that's not particularly important because there's an animal dying, and it's the family's animal. So they lost a friend and the family animal. But yeah. Why don't you just shoot yourself if you're no? There's too many years. How many would just instead of being eaten and suffer like a dog? I was gonna say I better not say that maybe because I might get in trouble. Don't. Anyway, so what are we going to do about this dog? He's just really not shutting up. So we got mixed feelings from the director. Apparently that we were supposed to strangle the dog, but this was a bit rough. So, but we're not sure if because of the following scene, if what's happening here. I guess you'd assume he's strangling him. No, it apparently is like a big nice hug, or he can't do it. They can't do it. So instead of killing the dog, he just go get eaten by the creatures. Yeah.
Well, why you pulling me? I'm right.
Fend for yourself. Here, that's more humane. Or more dogging. I don't know. Canine, I guess.
Don't worry about a thing. Every little thing is gonna be alright.
Let's move on because yes, we've had enough of this. We're still there. They haven't moved. We're just, sticking around with the cadaver of Uncle. Anyways, where does this bring us? We don't know. We're only 30 minutes into the movie. We're not even halfway in, and I'm sure you're already wondering, where is this going? Why do we need to make this any longer? Haven't we seen enough and had enough? Apparently not. Apparently not. Yeah, we can move over this, and because it's not particularly relevant to the plot. But the car is gone, so they have to walk and they look for refuge. And refuge they find near a town just before night. And it's a wonderful hut in the middle of the forest with nobody, because it's supposed to be the apocalypse, so you'd expect people, and people are sort of like, so then there should be some sort of danger around. So you'd expect like safe places to be, uh, sought after. But no, here we just find an old lady with a gun, who just doesn't know the apocalypse has come. It's like nothing ever happened. She thinks it's any old Friday. So she just tells these people, get out of my house. And the noise brings the mini pterodactyls. I don't know what to call them. But yeah, the old lady is gone. Anyways, so now they have to find a way inside the house, but this it's irrelevant. But this, of course, brings the plot onwards, because it brings an element that brings the story onwards, which is that one of them gets bitten while they try to get in. And who is that? It's the mummy, I think. Yeah, well, we can. Let's see the mummy. Okay, no. Oh, yeah, that's actually a great idea. And you wonder why you're not leaving that thing on all night. I mean, it's grinding these things like it's Christmas 365 days a year. But no, no. It's like turn it off and let's go to sleep. Why? I don't know. But yeah, Mummy was bitten. Let's go back to the scene where Mummy was bitten. She gets there's a problem in the tunnel. No spoilers. There's no need. Well, yeah, exactly. This brings noise. The aliens come. Blah blah blah. And one of them aggroes the snake, and the other one aggroes the mum, who gets bitten. How cute. Pterodactyl. Bitten. So let's get into the bitten argument. Let's see the bite. It's serious. You saw his face. It's serious.
And you're asking if I'm serious?
Oh my god. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay, moving on. So this means that they have to go and get some antibiotics next morning, and the scene goes on with them deciding that it's going to be dad and daughter going to town to find some medicine. Okay. Meantime, somebody Googled it to see what could this bites do. We assume there's something like They went with something like Komodo dragons, So, but if you ever get bitten by something like that, or even if you get infected in some sort of way, you are going to need to take antibiotics for something like a week, and you'll probably get fever in the meantime. And if it happened to you before 1950, before the discovery of penicillin, if you got infected, you were either going to die or they were going to cut the piece off that was infected, if that was a possibility. Of course, if you just had an infection on, I don't know, let's say your cheek, well, I don't know if you can cut off your cheek before it, well, I'll let you do the rest of the math. Anyways. So yeah, social media, Facebook is still working, or whatever that was. Boyfriend is in trouble, but that's all we get. So the next morning, they got it. They were supposed to not have anything. Grandma is like she has a bit of fever in the mornings, and everybody's just like, playing on it's the apocalypse, but we still have time to catch up with our game's daily tasks, for the daily grind, so we don't fall behind. And don't forget to pay to win. Moving on. Yeah, go to town. Make it solemn. We're scared going to town. Not sure why, because nothing really happened. Find some dead people on the way. So now we meet this is basically where things come together and the story starts really making sense. We meet this guy. This guy is the baddie. Yeah, let's put him aside for the time being and start talking about the. So basically, if you want to do an apocalypse movie, any sort of zombies or post-apocalyptic or anything, all you have to do is, rent one of these towns in America where they're sets. They have abandoned towns, and some of these towns have been refurbished to be sets for apocalyptic movies or thing. This one was probably, they didn't even bother changing whatever was already set up for the previous movie. There's some blood on some cars and nothing else. There's no bodies around. If you were to ask me, this is the set of Ash Against the Evil Dead, which is a really good set, but they didn't bother adding anything of theirs to sort of give any lore. But we do have some props and some specific lore once we get inside the pharmacy. Somebody did put actually some work and some money for props and things. And here we make this very important discovery towards the plot and the moving forward of the plot. No, not really. We just discover that the aliens implant their victims, their food with their eggs, with their babies, babies, those things.
Oh no, not again.
Cute little thing. Oh, it even has sort of ear fins. Wow. Somebody studied biology. And somebody else studied acting. Not really. None of those two. Teeth wash. Grab some. You might need it later. They get approached by whatever his name is. And they obviously want to not make noise, so they're talking through But he's a weird guy, and yeah, there's this scene which doesn't really make us understand. We understand it later on. The guy basically cut his lingual tendons. Is that the correct term? The tendons under the tongue, so he can't speak anymore. So we go back to the house, and day goes by, I guess, and we're fine. She's good, sexy, and healthy one day after the bite. It's all good. TVs are not working. Ah, damn. Truly must be the end of the world if the TVs aren't working. And yeah. Yeah, it's horrible. It is the end of the world. We've got our apps are not working anymore, and we are doing solitaries with cards, good old-fashioned way. I mean, you have to totally be bored to death to do that. So it figures, right? It makes sense. It's the apocalypse. That's why they're playing cards. They wouldn't be playing cards. Oh yeah, we have visitors. So Mr. Creepy and apparently Mr. Creepy isn't alone. He already has a sect. Two days into the apocalypse, there was no he's dressed like a normal priest. So apparently in 2 days he's shifted completely from whatever religion he was from before, official somehow, and supposedly somehow Christian, into whatever this is. Now we'll get into whatever this is, because whatever this is, it's certainly not Christian doctrine. At least, I mean, I don't know all the doctrines and all that, but it definitely doesn't sound like anything official, Christian, Hindu, Muslim, or anything that sort of. I mean, I don't know if you want to go back into sort of religions some thousand years ago, maybe, but no, not an official priest anymore. He's gone. He's joined us. Yeah, seems right. No, thank you. We're fine. He's behaving not like it's the apocalypse. So just thank you. No, goodbye. It's gonna be fine. Just keep behaving like nothing ever happened. Just join us. Follow our example. What does he mean with that? Later, they've all cut their muscles to their tongues, so that's why he's saying follow our example. And if you hadn't made the connection, because it obviously takes a lot of brain power, it's because the creatures hunt by sound. So if you don't make any sound, yeah, get it, get it, get it, get it. Leave us alone, please. Please, please, in the apocalypse. And he's like, yeah, he's as astonished by me from that please. But he's like, excuse me, just one point. Apparently, I don't know, he's watched Walking Dead and he's a fan of Negan. Polite, but not. Yeah, and he comes out with this thing. The girl is fertile. So the dad has the right reaction. Definitely. I mean, definitely. Yeah, you're starting to get it, right? Dude. Yes, yes, yes.
Where's Bill? Where's Bill?
Please stop hitting me.
Where's Bill?
Yes, that is the right thing to do. Yes. See, I mean, that's what any sane father in this world and in any other parallel dimension would do if they told them that they're there because his girl is fertile. Why haven't you pulled the trigger yet? It's the apocalypse. Yeah, just shoot them. Yeah, whatever. They're outside. You've got the house. It's not a problem. If you don't shoot them, they're gonna come later. Just shoot them. Oh yes, of course. So they hiss, and for reasons that are unexplained, that neither you, me, or even my cat, or probably even the director and producer of this movie knows, he didn't shoot.
Bird angry.
But that we still need to have some, I think, 19 minutes of movie left, so something's gonna have to happen. And I guess it's a bit too early to start going to the happy end. We still need like 10 minutes of plot, so it's probably best not to shoot them yet. I mean, I don't see any other reason why this should be happening. So obviously this doesn't turn out well. Of course, before we have some time on our social media, which worked for a little and then stopped working. Damn it! social media not working, it clearly is the end of everything. And everybody is sleeping, are they? Right? Because we just had visitors and it's the apocalypse, but nobody's on shift. All right, we're all sleeping in different parts of the house because there's no danger. Just, normal family road trip during the apocalypse. So I think this is kind of like the same genre, apocalypse movies for families. Okay, so yeah, of course there's a creepy girl outside the window. And of course we're gonna let her in. Because why wouldn't you, right? We had visitors earlier. They're clearly not a trap. And even if it weren't a trap, and I had my kids, I don't know if I would go and worry about other people's kids. But anyways, at least not at the expense of my kids' safety. So considering that might be a safety issue, I don't see why you should let it in. But of course I'm wrong, right? No, you should behave properly even during the apocalypse, even if there's something obviously fishy with it. That's what the goodies do, of course. And how does this end?
Oh, somebody kill me, please! Somebody kill me, please!
Why aren't they all in the same room? There's a phone on the window and it's been taped. And here we have a very interesting take on modern terrorism. Yeah, she's strapped. All mobile phones are on her. These horrible people from the sect have used her to. We basically, family just fell for the Trojan horse trap. It's like 2,000 years old. Everybody knows about it. If you haven't heard about the Trojan horse at school, you probably, I don't know, you probably weren't listening a lot. And but we just fell for it. The oldest trick in the book, Trojan horse, just fell for it. Clap, round of applause, standing ovation. Clearly the family that deserves to survive the apocalypse. Because the Smarties is not a factor, or intelligence, or even common sense. I totally agree. I mean, in the equation of Darwinism and survival of the fittest and evolution, um, the indicated moral behavior is obviously the most important factor in any element of survival. This is clearly the lesson to take. If you behave according to the dogma, which is here being shown, and I'm not going to make any mentions of it, of course, so everybody's panicking over birds, and the other guys come in and they take the house. Yay, of course. So the only person who actually does something is the mother. She gets her ass kicked. So the grandmother comes in, and the grandmother, being the only person in this family, obviously, who has any sort of common sense, clearly not coming from spoiled generations that followed, obviously, she does the only thing that anybody with common sense would do, since they've kidnapped their daughter, nephew. What does she do? This is, it's the only thing that actually makes sense in the whole movie. But it's obviously ruined by what happens after. In just, but we'll get to it. So let's watch it together, because it's really worth doing this together. 39 minutes into the review, and this is one of this is one of the cringe moments you're here for. So what she does is makes noise, which attracts the creatures, which gives a chance to the daughter to get to safety, or not. Why not? What are you doing? Why are you standing there? Why is the mother standing there and not at least trying not to vanify her mother's sacrifice by taking care of the daughter. No, she's just frozen like a reindeer, watching cars, lights of a car. Everybody's just watching. And yeah, of course. So the grandmother just died to save her, but we just threw that all in the gutter.
An old man dies. A young woman lives. Fair trade. I love you, Nancy.
Because good reasons that none of us know or understand, and neither does the director, nor does his mother, nor does his wife.
Bird angry.
But it's all fine because the plot needs to move on, and yes, it does, because we really, 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 really need to get past this movie once and for all.
Oh, somebody kill me, please!
Come on, yeah. Well, I'm sorry, dude. It's I mean, what do you want? Yeah. Okay, so we have all of this in the apocalypse, and it ends in a knife fight. A family knife. Yeah, he's got a gun. He's not using it to keep distance, and of course, what happens? He gets stabbed. Why? No reason. No good reason whatsoever.
Bird angry.
But yeah. Meantime, yeah, stoned to death. Classic. Anyways. So nice headshot. I mean headbutt. Whatever. Yeah, let them go. Nobody cares. Move on. Yeah, daddy has a fit. So movie's over. Right, just they walk to this wonderful refugee. See all those solar panels. Social media are working again, so we can finally play with our iPad and catch up with all those days of quests that you missed. Hopefully we didn't fall too far behind. But yeah, that's just about it. And now everybody's just, moving on in this post-apocalyptic world, and life finds a way, and there actually was no apocalypse. Yeah, I didn't see it for sure. I don't know about you.
Oscars, $400 million, and you saved Tug Stevens' career. I couldn't have done it without you, Sloan. Really? No, dickhead, of course I could. A nutless monkey could do your job. Well,
Yeah, if you stayed along all this time, and I'm not sure. I hope you did, because yeah. Let's take this off anyways, because whatever. Um, yeah. There's no good reason on any alternate dimension, heaven, hell, paradise, purgatory, in any fictional universe in which there's a good reason for you to watch this.
Ow! The hell was that for?
There is a lot of better bad movies that you could watch instead of this. Just watch anything else. Even if you're into, if you tonight you want to watch something really trash, and like for not this one, just choose another one. Trust me, it's just just don't watch it. Don't watch it. Don't do it.